The glass of whiskey sat on the mahogany table, amber liquid catching the low light. Eden Carter's hands trembled as she lifted it from the silver tray, her heart pounding against her ribs. She'd seen the poison go in, watched the Russian slip something into the drink when he thought no one was looking. But Eden was always watching. In her silent world, observation was survival. The Korean man at the head of the table, the one they called Hyungnim with careful respect, had no idea his life was measured in hours. Eden switched the glasses, disposed of the poisoned drink, and delivered the clean one. She should have walked away. But when his dark eyes found hers across the room, intense, calculating, knowing, Eden realized her good deed had just changed everything. Eden Carter had learned to read people the way others read books. In the 18 years since her voice disappeared, stolen by trauma on a blood-stained convenience store floor when she was 8, she'd become fluent in the language of micro-expressions and body language. Tonight, standing near the service entrance of the Emerald Pacific's most exclusive private dining room, she read danger in every gesture. The host sat at the head of the table with commanding stillness, Korean, perhaps 34, dressed in a charcoal Tom Ford suit. His white dress shirt was open at the collar, 4 buttons undone, revealing a glimpse of a small tattoo on his neck. Korean script in elegant calligraphy, but it was his eyes that held her, dark, intense, missing nothing. 7 other men at the table were divided, 4 with him, sitting with relaxed military posture. 3 were different, Russian, cold and tense like people in enemy territory. The man across from the Korean host was older, grey-haired, with ice-blue eyes. Alexei Petrov. Something about the way they watched each other reminded Eden of 2 predators circling. 40 minutes into dinner, the grey-suited Russian excused himself. Eden tracked his movement automatically. He paused near the bar where drinks waited on a tray. That's when she saw it. His left hand reached into his jacket, withdrew something small, and with practiced speed, emptied it into one specific glass of whiskey. The Korean man's glass distinguished by 2 ice spheres. Eden's breath caught. The Russian returned to the table, satisfaction barely concealed on his face. She had 2 minutes. Every instinct screamed to look away, to stay silent. But Eden had watched her father die because someone chose not to intervene. She still heard the gunshot in her nightmares, still felt the scream that died in her throat. She moved. Tapping the server's shoulder, she scrawled on her notepad. Need to verify glassware quality. Hotel manager's orders. The server returned the tray. Eden identified the poisoned whiskey by faint residue on the rim, invisible unless you knew to look. She disposed of it and replaced it with a fresh pour. 2 ice spheres, identical placement. When drinks were delivered, the Korean man lifted his glass. 1 small sip, expression unchanged. Eden should have felt relief. Instead, she felt the weight of his gaze. He was looking at her. Not openly, but she felt it like heat. His eyes had tracked her movement, noted her intervention, watched her hands shake. He knew something had happened. The dinner concluded with handshakes that looked cordial but felt like threats. As guests departed, Eden began her post-event check. Miss Carter. The voice came from behind her. She turned to face a younger Korean man with sharp features. He showed her his phone. Mr. Choi would like a word. Please follow me. Eden's stomach dropped. She pointed to her coordinator badge, tried to indicate she had duties. He typed again, not a request. They walked through private corridors to an elevator requiring a key card, then to a penthouse office. Floor-to-ceiling windows, museum-quality furniture, and technology suggesting serious work. The Korean man, Mr. Choi, stood by the window. When he turned, his face was unreadable. He gestured to a laptop, inviting her to communicate. Eden typed, "How can I help you, Mr. Choi?" He typed back, "Why did you switch my drink?" Eden's blood turned to ice. He typed again, "I notice everything, Miss Carter. You intercepted the tray, your hands were shaking. You looked at Petrov's man with recognition. You disposed of 1 glass. Why?" "No point in lying." She typed, "It was poisoned." "I saw the man in the grey suit put something in it. Choi Sang-woo," she could see his name on a document, stared at the screen, his expression shifting through emotions she couldn't quite read. He typed, "Why?" Eden's fingers trembled. "You don't need to know someone to know that murder is wrong, and you have a young daughter. I saw the photo in your wallet when it fell earlier. She needs her father. Sang-woo froze completely. For a man who controlled his reactions with soldier's discipline, the crack in his composure was startling. He looked at her words, then at her face, and something in his eyes shifted, confusion becoming wonder. He typed, "You saved my life because of my daughter, a child you've never met." Eden nodded. "You realize what you've done? If Petrov discovers you interfered, you're dead. You just painted a target on yourself," she typed. "Then I guess I made a mistake. I'll go. You think you can just leave?" He spoke now, and she read his lips. "Petrov is already suspicious. He'll investigate everyone who had access. Your name is on the coordinator list. You're the only one who touched the drinks." He typed again, "You need protection. I can provide it, but it means staying close. Very close." She typed back, "I don't need protection from you." "Handle it?" He laughed without humor. "Miss Carter, you just interfered in an assassination attempt. You don't handle people like Alexei Petrov." An older Korean man entered, speaking rapid Korean with Sang-woo before addressing Eden in accented English. "Miss Carter, I am Park Moon-sik. You have done something very brave tonight, but you must stay close to us now. It is the only way." Sang-woo stepped closer, took the pen from her hand, their fingers brushing. He wrote on her notepad, "Tomorrow you receive a promotion. Senior Private Events Coordinator. Salary tripled. You work from this office. Security escorts you to a safer apartment. Non-negotiable." Eden stared at the words. A cage dressed as opportunity. She looked up at him, really seeing him. Exhaustion hidden behind command. Loneliness in careful eyes, the weight he carried alone. She mouthed, "Why?" His response was quiet. "Because in 7 years, you're the first person who looked at me and saw something worth saving instead of something to fear." Eden's new apartment was luxury. 20th floor, floor-to-ceiling windows, designer furniture, and 2 security guards stationed in the hallway. Devon Wallace, her best friend who'd learned ASL when Eden lost her voice, stood signing emphatically, "Are you insane? This is a gilded cage." "I didn't have a choice," Eden signed back. "There's always a choice. Police, FBI, anything except moving in with the mob." And told them what? "I have no evidence. I'd be ignored or killed." Devon typed on her phone. "I did research. The Emerald Pacific. Front for Korean organized crime. Money laundering, underground gambling. Your boss? Youngest person to ever control Seattle territory. Took over 7 years ago. They call him the Silent Dragon because he never threatens, just acts. His wife died 5 years ago in childbirth. He's raising their daughter alone. But he protected me," Eden signed. "For now, because you're useful." Monday morning, Eden arrived at the penthouse office. Sang-woo was on the phone speaking sharp Korean. He ended the call when he noticed her. He gestured to a new desk with state-of-the-art equipment, then typed, "Your job is coordinating private events for select clients. Some conventional, some less so. You don't ask questions, you ensure perfection and discretion. Understood?" Eden typed, "And my real job, where I'm bait to draw out whoever comes looking." His expression flickered. Surprise or respect. He typed, "You're perceptive. Yes. But you're not bait. You're protected. There's a difference." "Is there?" Instead of answering, he led her to a sub-basement shooting range. He fired 6 perfect shots, then turned to her with a typed message, "I can teach you to protect yourself, or you can rely entirely on my people. Your choice." Eden held out her hand. Over 2 weeks she fell into a strange rhythm, mornings coordinating legitimate events, afternoons learning to shoot, identify threats, notice danger. Sang-woo was patient, communicating through typed instructions, never touching more than necessary but always aware of her. She learned he was left-handed, drank coffee black with 1 sugar, called his daughter every day at 7 p.m., his demeanor softening completely, and she learned that despite his reputation, he treated his people with fairness, bordering on loyalty. "Loyalty is earned," he told her one afternoon via typed message. "Fear is cheap and temporary. I built this on people who choose to stay, not people afraid to leave. And yet I'm here because I don't have a choice," Eden typed. He looked at her for a long moment. "You had a choice. You could have let me die. You chose differently. Now I'm choosing to keep you alive. We all make choices." The question is whether we can live with the consequences. That evening, a black sedan followed her home. She texted Hong Shi-woo, her security contact. 2 blocks later, the sedan was intercepted by 3 of Sang-woo's vehicles. When Eden reached her apartment, Sang-woo was waiting. She signed angrily. "How did you get in?" He typed, "I own the building." "But that's not why I'm here. The car, Russian plates, Petrov's people. They're getting closer. What do we do?" "You keep saying we," he said aloud, knowing she'd read his lips. "You're not part of this. You're someone I'm protecting." She grabbed her notepad. "Then why teach me to shoot? Why tell me about your organization? Why trust me?" He read her words, conflict crossing his face, loneliness so profound it hurt to witness. "Because I haven't had someone to talk to, really talk to, in longer than I can remember. Everyone wants something or fears something, but you look at me like I'm just a man." Eden wrote, "You are just a man who happens to run a criminal empire but still just a man. Most people forget the second part." He typed, "Petrov requested a meeting. Tomorrow night. Here. He wants to discuss the breach. He's coming to my territory, which means he's confident. Let me coordinate the event. I'll be visible, doing my job. Normal. It might make him show his hand." "Absolutely not. I'm tired of hiding," she interrupted via text. "I've been hiding since I was 8 years old. Maybe it's time I stopped." Finally, he typed, "If we do this, you follow my instructions exactly. Agreed? Agreed." The next evening, Eden coordinated the most dangerous event of her career. Petrov arrived with 4 men, all carrying barely concealed confidence. Sang-woo greeted them in the same dining room. Psychological warfare. Petrov noticed Eden immediately. "Ah, the event coordinator. I remember you. You were very attentive to details. You are mute, yes? How convenient. One who cannot speak, cannot repeat what they hear." Sang-woo's voice cut like ice. "Miss Carter's professionalism is beyond question. Shall we begin our discussion? Or would you prefer to continue insulting my staff?" The dinner was tense, filled with verbal sparring masked as negotiation. When Eden delivered Petrov's vodka, he caught her wrist. "You have very steady hands, even when switching drinks last time." "Yes, I know. I wondered who had the courage or stupidity to interfere." Around the table, Sang-woo's men tensed, but Sang-woo remained perfectly still, his eyes gone absolutely flat. "Let her go," Sang-woo said quietly. "Now." "Or what? You'll start a war over one mute girl? My price is simple. Her. Give me the woman who ruined my plan, and I'll forget this dispute. All for one little girl who cannot even scream." The silence was suffocating. Eden felt the impossible choice being laid before him. She made the choice for him. Moving with speed that surprised everyone, she twisted free, a technique Sang-woo had taught her, and stepped to his side. Then she signed, knowing he'd been secretly learning. "Tell him I'm not a bargaining chip. Tell him if he wants war, I'll give him a reason." Sang-woo's eyes widened, then he smiled genuinely. He spoke in Korean, then English. "The lady says she's not for sale, I agree. This meeting is over, Alexei. Leave my territory." Petrov stood, rage darkening his face. "You choose her over peace? I choose her over you. There's a difference." After the Russians left, Eden found herself alone with Sang-woo in the office, hands finally shaking. He approached slowly, then signed carefully, "You are incredibly brave, and incredibly foolish, but mostly brave." "You learned ASL," she signed, wonder in her expression. "I learn what I need to learn, and I needed to understand you better." The intimacy broke something open in Eden's chest. She stepped closer, close enough to feel his heat, see gold flecks in his dark eyes. "Eden," he said her name aloud for the first time. "Petrov won't stop. When he comes, there will be violence, real violence. Are you sure you want to stay in this world?" She typed, "I'm sure I want to stay with you." The confession hung between them. Sang-woo's control cracked, revealing longing beneath. "You don't know what you're saying." "I know exactly what I'm saying. You're not the monster you think you are." "How can you possibly know that?" "Because monsters don't learn sign language just to communicate. Monsters don't call their daughters every night. Monsters don't choose one person over an empire." He surrendered, cupping her face gently, hands that had killed, now holding her with gentleness that made her eyes sting. If I do this, if I let myself care the way I already do, I won't be able to let you go. Ever. I am possessive and controlling and dangerous to everyone I love. Are you prepared? In answer, she kissed him. The kiss started gentle, questioning. Then his control shattered, and he pulled her closer, kissing her like she was air, and he'd been drowning. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, his armor was completely gone. She typed, "I'm not going anywhere. Not unless you send me away." "Never," he said fiercely, signing as he spoke. "I will never send you away." But through the window, Eden noticed something, a flash of light from across the street, the glint of a scope. She moved on instinct, shoving Sang-woo aside just as the window exploded. The bullet embedded itself in the wall behind where he'd been standing. Sang-woo dragged her to the floor, his body covering hers as more shots followed. Then silence. He lifted his head cautiously, checking her for injuries. "Are you hurt?" Eden tapped his chest twice, their signal for, "I'm okay." Within seconds, Hong Shi-woo burst in with armed men. "Secure the building, find the shooter, get Park Moon-sik here now." As his men dispersed, Sang-woo turned back to Eden, raw fear in his eyes. "You pushed me. You saw the shooter, and instead of taking cover, you pushed me out of the way." She typed, "I couldn't let you get shot. Not for me. This is exactly because of you. Because I chose you over Petrov's deal. I was already in the crossfire the moment I switched that drink. You didn't put me here, I put myself here. Park Moon-sik arrived. Petrov moves quickly. This is a message. Then we send one back he can't ignore. War will be costly. I don't care." He crossed a line. "No." Eden's hands moved sharply. "No war. Not for me. There has to be another way. There isn't. You show strength or weakness. No middle ground. Then show strength differently. Use me as bait. Let Petrov think you'll hand me over to avoid war. Then trap him. Absolutely not. I'm not a doll to be protected. I'm choosing to help end this." Park cleared his throat. "Perhaps we should hear what Miss Carter has in mind." She typed quickly. "Agree to a meeting. Neutral ground. Make him think you're considering handing me over. He'll come personally to save a victory. And you'll have him where you want him." The plan took shape over a week. Her warehouse at the port. Minimal visible security. Petrov would expect Eden's surrender or negotiation. What he wouldn't expect was the dozen hidden personnel, or that Eden herself was armed. "I don't like this," Devon signed when Eden explained. "I'm betting on us together," Eden signed back. The night before, Sang-woo came to her apartment after calling Soo-min. Eden heard his soft voice telling his daughter a story, promising the aquarium soon. When he emerged exhausted, Eden offered tea. They sat in silence. Finally, he typed, "If something goes wrong tomorrow." Eden placed her hand over the screen, shook her head. "Let me finish. Hong Shi-woo has instructions to get you out. Safe house, money, new identity. Promise me you'll go. Only if you promise to come with me. I can't abandon my people. And I can't abandon you. So we both need to make sure nothing goes wrong." He signed slowly. "When did you become the brave one? I was always brave. I just needed a reason to show it." He took her hand. "I never wanted this life for anyone I cared about. My wife knew what I was. But it killed her anyway, the stress. When she died, I promised myself I'd never put anyone else through that." Eden typed, "I'm not her, and I'm choosing this with open eyes. Don't take that choice away." "You're too stubborn," I learned from the best. "Eden, after tomorrow, if we survive, I want you to meet Soo-min, properly, as someone important to me." The significance hit her. Introducing someone to his daughter was declaring commitment. She typed, "I'd like that very much." He kissed her knuckles tenderly. "Whatever happens, know that these weeks with you have been unexpected, in the best way." Eden kissed him instead of typing. The kiss was different, less desperate, more certain. A promise. "I'm going to keep you safe tomorrow," he whispered. "No matter what it costs." "We're going to keep each other safe," she corrected. The warehouse at midnight looked cinematic, industrial, shadowy, salt water and metal. Sang-woo arrived first with Hong Shi-woo and 3 men. Eden was with them, dressed in black, pistol concealed. Petrov arrived 20 minutes later, a power play, with 6 armed men. "Choi, you came." Skip the pleasantries. What are your terms? Simple. The girl. Give me the mute bitch, and we forget this unpleasantness. And if I refuse, then I take her anyway, and your territory and your life. What Petrov didn't know, the conversation was recorded. Hong Shiwu had positioned men throughout. Eden was prepared to act. What Petrov also didn't know, someone had betrayed them. An explosion came from above, a deliberate ceiling collapse. Sang-woo shoved Eden behind concrete as debris rained, separating them from their people. Through chaos, Eden saw Petrov's men moving with precision, and Hwang Taijun, one of Sang-woo's own, standing beside Petrov, smiling. Surprise, Petrov said, gun drawn. Did you think I'd come unprepared? Hwang explained your security arrangements. Sang-woo's face went cold. Hwang, you betray your own people for Russian money. I betray a fool who chooses a woman over power. Eden's mind raced. They were pinned, separated. Petrov had them exactly where he wanted. Then she remembered, your opponent's confidence is your greatest weapon. She stepped out, hands raised, before Sang-woo could stop her. Petrov smiled. There she is. Come here. Eden walked forward, meeting Sang-woo's eyes. She signed quickly. Trust me. Within reach, she did what he didn't expect. She pulled her gun and fired, not at Petrov, but at chains holding a suspended container above Hwang and two of Petrov's men. The container crashed down. In the chaos, Petrov diving for cover, Sang-woo moved. The fight was brutal and efficient. Hong Shiwu and others broke through, evening numbers. Petrov's men surrendered. Petrov knelt Sang-woo's gun to his temple. I could kill you now. Then do it. No, you're leaving Seattle. Tonight. You'll tell Moscow that expansion here is impossible. And you'll remember that the woman you tried to use is the reason you're alive. Because she convinced me mercy was stronger than revenge. He looked at Eden, question in his eyes. She nodded. Signed, you did the right thing. Petrov was escorted to the port. Hwang's fate was exile, stripped of resources, marked. As dawn broke, Eden found herself back in Sang-woo's office, watching sunrise paint the sky gold and pink. He stood beside her, hand finding hers. You saved my life again. That's becoming a habit. Someone has to keep you alive. Why? She typed. Because somewhere between that first night and now, I stopped seeing the criminal and started seeing the man, the father who calls his daughter every night, the leader who values loyalty over fear, the person who learned my language to understand me better. That man is worth saving. He struggled with emotion, usually buried. I don't deserve you. Probably not, but you're stuck with me anyway. He pulled her into his arms. I love you, he whispered rawly. I know it's too soon, the circumstances are impossible, but I love you, Eden Carter. Eden signed, I love you too. The kiss tasted like new beginnings, survived danger, a future neither had dared imagine. Outside, Seattle woke. Inside, two people held tight, ready to face whatever came next, together. 2 weeks after Petrov's retreat felt like calm before a storm. Reports filtered back. Petrov was in Moscow, wounded pride too deep to let rest permanently. Eden had moved into Sang-woo's penthouse residence, both practical and personal. The morning Sang-woo introduced Eden to Sumin, Eden's hands shook more than facing Petrov. The 5-year-old had her father's dark eyes and solemn expression too old for her years. Yellow dress, pigtails. She studied Eden carefully. A child who'd learned people left. Sang-woo knelt to her level, speaking gentle Korean. Eden caught the important words. Friend. Special. Trust. Sumin approached cautiously, then signed carefully. Hello? Daddy taught me to talk with hands. Eden's heart melted. She signed back. Hello, Sumin, wonderful to meet you. The little girl's face transformed with a smile. You can teach me more signs. I can teach you lots. Watching them, Sang-woo felt a knot loosen, the fear that Sumin would never have a maternal figure she could trust. They spent the afternoon together. Eden taught signs for colors, animals, foods. Sang-woo prepared lunch, Korean dishes mixed with soul food recipes Eden had taught him. The fusion felt symbolic, but beneath contentment, danger built. Dr. Patricia Moore, Eden's childhood therapist, requested an urgent meeting. Eden, Dr. Moore said carefully, I need to talk about your mutism. I've always believed it was psychological rather than physiological. Your vocal cords are healthy. Eden knew this. The inability to speak wasn't about capability. It was about the scream that died in her throat. What I haven't told you is that I believe you could speak again if you felt safe enough, if you trusted someone completely. The trauma created a lock, but the right key could open it. Why are you telling me this now? Eden typed. Because I've been watching you. The way you've changed. You're more present, engaged. I think the man you're involved with might be that key. Not because he can fix you, you're not broken, but because he makes you feel safe enough to try. The conversation haunted Eden for days. Then Huang Tai-jun, the exiled traitor, was found dead. Police ruled it a mugging. Sang-woo's sources said different. Russian execution. A message. They're tying up loose ends, Park Moon-sik explained. Huang knew too much. Petrov's eliminating anyone who could expose what he learned. Which means he's planning something, Sang-woo concluded, hand finding Eden's under the table. 3 days later, Eden was coordinating a corporate event when her phone buzzed with an unknown number. I have what you love most. Come alone to the address below, or I send pieces of her back. Attached, a photo of Su-min unconscious in a van. Eden's mind went blank with terror, then sharpened. Petrov had Sang-woo's daughter. She should call Sang-woo, should alert Hong Shi-woo, should follow every protocol. Instead, Eden looked at the address and made a decision. She texted, I'm coming. Don't hurt her. Come alone. I have eyes everywhere. If I see Choi's people, the girl dies. Eden left her phone, which Sang-woo could track, on the desk. She took a taxi to the address. Abandoned warehouse on the waterfront. Of course. Inside, Petrov, 3 armed men, and Su-min tied to a chair, tears streaming but unharmed. Ah, the mute girl. You care more for the child than your own safety. Admirable. Stupid, but admirable. Eden's hands moved in prayer-like signs. I'm sorry. Here's what happens. You're going to text Choi that you have his daughter, that if he wants her alive, he comes alone. Just him, walking into my trap. He handed Eden a phone. Do it. Eden took it. If she sent that message, Sang-woo would come and Petrov would kill all 3. If she refused, Su-min would die. She thought about Dr. Moore's words. The trauma created a lock, but the right key could open it. She thought about Sang-woo teaching her to fight, to protect herself. She thought about Su-min signing hello with hope, and Eden Carter, who hadn't spoken in 18 years, opened her mouth and screamed. The sound was raw, unpracticed, broken, but loud. Loud enough to echo through the warehouse, to trigger the panic alarm she'd activated on the phone. Sang-woo! The name tore from her throat like breaking glass. Sang-woo! Petrov's expression shifted to rage. He raised his gun. The shot that rang out didn't come from his weapon. The door exploded inward. Sang-woo was there with a small army. They'd been tracking Eden since she left, following at a distance, waiting for Eden to find her voice. The fight was brief and brutal. Within minutes it was over. Sang-woo went to Su-min first, the father demanding reassurance. He untied her with shaking hands, held her as she sobbed, whispering Korean reassurances. Then he looked at Eden, and the expression on his face was beyond words. You spoke. You said my name. Eden's throat hurt, but she tried again. The word came out rough but real. Sang-woo. He crossed to her with Su-min still clinging, creating a circle of 3 that felt like family. Don't you ever put yourself in danger like that again. Su-min, Eden croaked. Had to. Save her. I know, and I love you for it. But if you die protecting my daughter, who protects my heart? Petrov, zip-tied and bleeding, laughed bitterly. The silent dragon brought down by love. Sang-woo turned to him coldly. My mentor taught me that power without purpose is just violence. I found my purpose. He looked at Eden, at Su-min, and it's worth more than any empire. To Park Moon-sik, make arrangements. Petrov goes back to Moscow permanently. Make sure everyone knows he failed, that he lost. That touching my family again means total war. As Petrov was dragged away, Eden felt the crash hit. Her legs gave out, but Sang-woo caught her. Your voice, after all these years. Not. All the time, Eden managed. But when it matters. Su-min reached out to touch Eden's face gently. She signed, You're brave. Like a princess. Eden signed back, then forced words. Not princess. Just someone who loves you both. They stayed there as sirens began as the danger finally truly passed. Sang-woo handed Eden his phone. Devon, frantic. She texted, "I'm okay," I spoke. "I'll explain later." Devon's response, "You what?" Despite everything, Eden smiled. Then, voice exhausted, she signed, "Take us home." Home, Sang-woo agreed. All of us, together. The aftermath rippled through the criminal underworld. Within 48 hours, every organization knew Choi Sang-woo had decisively ended the Russian threat to protect his family. The word family changed everything. It meant Eden and Soo-min weren't leverage. They were under absolute protection. But knowledge didn't mean danger was completely over. A week later, Sang-woo called an emergency meeting. Eden attended, voice still rough and unreliable but present. Petrov's organization has officially withdrawn from all North American operations, Park Moon-sik reported. His failure was too public. They've recalled him to Moscow. And internally, Sang-woo asked, the men are solid. Hwang's betrayal was isolated. If anything, the way you handled this, protecting family while minimizing bloodshed, has strengthened loyalty. Sang-woo turned to Eden. I need to ask you something with absolute honesty. She met his eyes, nodded. Do you want to stay in this world? Because I can get you out. New identity if needed, enough money to never worry. You don't owe me anything more. The room fell silent. Eden typed. And leave you. Leave Soo-min. That's not freedom, that's just a different prison. Eden, she kept typing. I know what you're trying to do. You think I never had a choice. But I did. I chose when I switched that drink. I chose when I pushed you from that bullet. I chose when I walked into that warehouse. Every step I chose you. I'm still choosing you. You deserve better. I deserve to decide what I want. And I want you. I want Soo-min. I want this strange, dangerous family we're building. Park cleared his throat. Perhaps the question isn't whether she should stay, but how we ensure her safety if she does. Marriage, Hong Shi-woo said bluntly. Everyone stared. What? In our world, marriage means permanent alliance. Anyone who touches her declares war. It provides legal protections, too. Sang-woo shot him a lethal look. That's not, I wasn't, Eden typed. He's not wrong about practical benefits, but if you're proposing, you're doing it very badly. Several people smiled. I'm not proposing, Sang-woo said quickly. Not that I wouldn't want to. He stopped, frustrated. Can everyone please leave? The room cleared. Alone, Sang-woo took her hands. I'm handling this terribly. Eden smiled, signed yes. I've thought about it, about asking you. And I keep coming back to, I have nothing to offer but danger and complexity and a traumatized child. Eden typed, You're offering me love, purpose, a family, a reason to speak again after 18 years. Those aren't nothing. But you could have those things with someone normal. I don't want normal, I want you. Why me? She typed slowly, because you see me. Not the disability, not the silence. You see me. You learned my language. You taught me to protect myself. You trust me with your daughter, your secrets, your heart. You make me want to be brave instead of just safe. That's everything. He read her words, and guilt released its grip, replaced by hope. If I did ask, purely hypothetical, Eden raised an eyebrow. Would you say yes? Instead of typing, Eden used her voice. Ask me, and find out. He knelt right there, taking both her hands. Eden Carter, would you do me the incredible honor of marrying me? Of being Soo-min's mother in all the ways that matter? Of standing beside me as we build something good from this life? Eden's eyes filled with tears. She signed first. Yes, 1,000 times yes. Then, because he deserved to hear it, yes. The kiss was gentle, reverent, full of promises. When they pulled apart, Sang-woo smiled, genuinely fully. I don't have a ring. Hong Shi-woo planned it. Give him a raise. Over 3 months, they built a life. Not perfect, but real. Sang-woo began legitimizing operations. Gambling moved to legal casinos. Protection became actual security services. Money laundering shifted to legitimate investment. For Soo-min, he told Park, I want her to inherit something she can be proud of. Eden returned to work as Sang-woo's official partner in the hotel business. She hired Devon as her assistant. So-min bloomed. She learned ASL with childhood speed. She called Eden Miss Eden and then Edeness, and finally, 3 months later, signed Mom. Eden cried. Sang-woo cried. Even Hong-shi-woo got misty-eyed. Dr. Moore continued working with Eden on her voice. Progress was slow. Some days she could speak for hours, others not at all. But she'd stopped seeing it as failure. "You don't need to be fixed," one Dr. Moore said. "You just needed to know you could speak if you chose to. The choice is what matters." The wedding was small. Park walked Eden down the aisle. Devon stood as maid of honor. Hong-shi-woo was best man, uncomfortable in a tuxedo. Soo-min was flower girl, signing pretty to everyone. When asked if Eden took Sang-woo as her husband, she signed, "I do," then forced through her throat, "I do." Sang-woo's vows, in Korean then English, promised to honor her silence and voice equally, to protect her fiercely, to love her completely. At the reception, Soo-min tugged Eden's dress and signed, "Are you my real mom now?" Eden knelt. "I've been your real mom since the moment I met you. The wedding just makes it official." "Good, because I picked you." Watching them, Sang-woo felt his walls finally crumble. He'd been vulnerable or whole nevermore. Hong-shi-woo approached with champagne. "To the boss who chose love over empire. I didn't choose one over the other. I chose to transform the empire into something worth passing down." As sunset painted Seattle, Eden and Sang-woo stepped onto a private balcony. "Any regrets?" Sang-woo asked, signing as he spoke. Eden shook her head, then used her voice, clearer now. "Not one, you?" "Only that I didn't find you sooner. We found each other when we needed to." He pulled her close, and they stood as evening descended, two people who'd found exactly what they'd thought they'd lost forever. 18 months later. The gallery opening was everything Eden envisioned. Elegant, welcoming, a perfect blend of cultures. The Carter Choi Community Arts Center offered free art classes to underprivileged youth, with special focus on accessible programs for deaf and disabled children. Eden moved through the crowd, greeting guests in mixed sign language and spoken words. Her voice still came and went, but she'd stopped apologizing. Soo-min, now 7, served as unofficial tour guide, proudly signing about different programs. Eden found Sang-woo studying paintings created by deaf teenagers. He'd changed, still commanding, still powerful, but with lightness that hadn't existed before. His business transition continued. Underground casinos became legitimate. Protection became actual security. Hotels thrived under joint management. He sensed her approach and turned with his reserved smile. "The center is perfect. You should be proud. We should be proud. This was built together." Alicia Morgan, former co-worker now managing outreach, approached. "Eden, the Times reporter is asking about funding. Tell them the truth. Legitimate profits and community grants. Every dollar accounted for. We have nothing to hide." After Alicia left, Sang-woo squeezed Eden's hand. "You're amazing. I learned from the best." Park Moon-sik arrived with Hong-shi-woo. "The perimeter is secure," Hong reported. "There's no perimeter needed. This is a community event, not an operation. Still, better safe." The children's gallery filled Eden with joy. Soo-min's contribution. A mixed media piece titled My Family, showing 3 figures, one signing, one speaking, one doing both. "It's us," Soo-min signed proudly. "You talk with hands and words. Daddy talks with words and hands. I talk with both because you taught me." Eden pulled her daughter close because that's what Soo-min was now, legally and emotionally. Adoption finalized 3 months prior. As evening wound down, Eden stood with Sang-woo on the roof terrace. Soo-min slept in a corner, watched by Hong-shi-woo. "Do you ever think about that first night?" Sang-woo asked quietly. "Sometimes, but I try not to focus on what could have been. This, us, Soo-min, the center, the life we're building, this is what matters." He took both her hands. "When my wife died, I thought that was it. That I'd raise Soo-min and run my organization and never feel anything real again. And then you switched that drink." He paused. "You didn't just save my life that night. You reminded me I had a life worth saving. You saw a monster and treated him like a man. You gave me a family I thought I'd lost forever." Eden signed, "You gave me a voice, literally and figuratively. You taught me I could be strong and soft, silent and heard, broken and whole all at once. We saved each other," Sang-woo said softly. We did, Eden agreed. Behind them, Sumin slept peacefully. Beyond stretched Seattle, their city, their home. I love you, Sang-woo said in Korean, then English, then sign language. Eden responded in kind. I love you too. They kissed as city lights glittered, two people who'd found each other in unlikely circumstances and built something beautiful. The mute black girl who'd switched a drink, the Korean Mafia boss who'd frozen when he realized why. Neither perfect, both transformed. Together, unstoppable. And in the center named for both families, in the community they were building, in the daughter they were raising together, their legacy wasn't violence or silence. It was hope, redemption, and love that conquered every obstacle.